The chapter starts with Rox lying on the ground. Roger and Garp already left the battlefield. Despite Roger and Garp's attacks, Rox was still alive, and he was still talking to himself. He says, didn't work, huh? Roger, Garp, run! You guys are not to die here. Suddenly, Garling, Summers, and Maffey approached Rox. Garling raised his sword and stabbed it into Rox's body. These were Rox's last words. Oh, almost forgot. Thank you guys for stopping my rampage. So that's it. Rox is dead. Maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But yeah, we found out yesterday in the initial spoilers that this was essentially Rox's death, and it was Garling who kills him. We speculated for months as to how Rox was going to die, and the two options boiled down to Garp and Roger teaming up to kill him, and then the other one was Garling killing him, and we got both. Kind of. Well, Garp and Roger weren't able to kill him, despite Rox pleading with them to do it. I mean, they stopped him from his rampage, as he says, because he almost literally killed his wife and child. But man, Rox was a beast, survived both Garp and Roger's ultimate attacks in earnest, only to be killed by that piece of crap Garling. But it's understandable, we're supposed to hate Garling. He's irredeemable psychopath, and this just makes us hate him even more, so thanks, Oda. And also, I talked about this too, but this is probably why Blackbeard hates Shanks. Why he attacked him at some point and gave him that scar across his eye. I don't know how Blackbeard found out about this, but Blackbeard knows a lot of things, and we just don't know how. I'm sure eventually we will in his flashback, which we're gonna get in like 6 years. Hey, also guys, can we try to get 3,000 likes on this video, please? Take that phone, because I know you're probably watching it on there. Hit the like button. It'll help the video, and it'll help me out so much. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Then we can see characters like Newgate, Linlin, Kaido, or Shaki in the montage closing God Valley's incident. And we can see too that God Valley Island was sinking into the sea. We don't see laser beams destroying the island or anything like that, just the island sinking. So yeah, the rest of the Rox pirates are just ghosting. We don't even get to see what Whitebeard says about all this stuff. Does he just go on like thinking that Rox betrayed him? I mean, eventually Roger like has to tell him like, oh hey, by the way, Rox got Dami reversi'd, or however he explains that to him. He became a mind-controlled demon, and that's why he was attacking you. He was very loyal to you to the end, so you should continue to respect him. I don't know if Oda will ever show us that. It would be pretty cool if he did. And as for God Valley sinking into the sea, yes, I did think it was going to be Uranus, which I guess other people did too, since Zhoniin is mentioning it here. But it kind of just sinks into the sea, I guess, from all the damage that the island sustained from these last couple battles that was going on. And we knew that God Valley was going to be gone anyway, because Sengoku said it doesn't exist on a map anymore. And also, I was thinking, is it possible that Rox is still alive despite all of this? And I know it's like, whoa, that's nonsense. How could he? Because if he is still Dami reversi'd, then would he have like the regeneration power that comes with that? And would he have like an undying body too? It's like, because we thought that Garp and Roger was going to kill him, but they didn't. So now it's just Garling stabbing him going to do it. And I know that would probably bring some issues into the story if Rox was still alive, but I don't know. It's like, why is he showing us God Valley sinking into the sea? And when, you know, Oda puts other things into the story about things being at the bottom of the sea and whatnot, especially Davy Jones is implied to be down there. I made a whole video about that with Sai and Dax Sake earlier last week. That would be pretty cool if Rox was still alive, but then I guess he would still be Dami reversi'd, but I guess he's still somewhat cognizant. I don't know, I'm not gonna hold my breath about that, and I don't think you guys should either. If Rox is dead, he's dead. He lived a life. He had a very tragic ending. It is what it is. I really don't need him to still be alive. I mean, it would be incredible if he was, and then they could somehow undami reversing him or whatever, but probably not. Roger returned to the Oro Jackson after treating his wounds. He heard a strange noise coming from a treasure box. They opened it and they find baby Shanks smiling. This is the exact same page we saw in the Film Red Specials volume. The news of the Rox Pirates' disbandment spread around the world. HARALD stopped the giant who was plundering on Human Town. He punched the giant several times in rage. HARALD felt guilty that his effort for peace resulting in him not helping Rox, so he will not forgive any giant who stands against his goal. Well, at least HARALD is feeling remorseful for not helping Rox, because he should have. Rox would have did it for him, but I guess HARALD is supposed to be a very flawed character, so I understand it, but still, it's like, screw you, dude, you suck. We see Loki's reaction too. Loki wanted to join the Rox Pirates because he thought Rox was the god Nika. However, Rox told him that he wasn't a god who wanted to destroy the world. He was a pirate who aimed to conquer the world in order to change it. All right, awesome reveal from Rox here. I love that this is what he ultimately wanted. He should have been like the true MC of this series. But this also goes back to what I was talking about yesterday, and I think that Loki is probably going to join the Blackbeard Pirates. One way or another. I don't know how it's going to happen. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here. But it's just that he's so on board with Rox, I mean, as he should be, that once he finds out that Blackbeard is the son of Rox, I don't see why he wouldn't join with him and try to put Blackbeard on the empty throne in Mary Joie, because that's technically his right. I mean, at least according to monarchy rules, which One Piece very strictly abides by. I mean, almost every arc, it winds up with the original monarchy reclaiming their throne. And as Rox said, Davy D. Jones, was the original king of the world. So going by that, Blackbeard is technically the rightful heir to the empty throne of Mary Joie. You know, the same way in Game of Thrones, you know, with the Targaryens and the Iron Throne. Cut to the underground detention center in the Marine headquarters. Dragon was locked up in a cell, and Garp went to see him. After a brief conversation, Garp threw the cell key to his son. Dragon says, "Pops, I'm quitting from the Navy." And Garp says, "Yeah." And Dragon says, "I despise you." And Garp says, "Yeah." So this is a great sequence. I love Dragon and Garp here. Garp rightfully releasing Dragon as he should. Dragon thrown in jail here because he essentially had a mutiny. Or like a singular mutiny. Like he held his fellow Marines at gunpoint, forcing them to take the survivors of God Valley onto the ship to get them out of there. So yeah, naturally they're gonna imprison him for that. And Garp, who for some reason is getting off scot-free here for attacking a freaking Gorosei. But it is what it is. I mean, maybe they needed a fall guy to prop up Garp as the hero of the Marines coming out of the God Valley incident. Even though they could have just did that for Garling, I just want to see what Oda's reasoning is for the Gorosei and the world government allowing Garp to stay here. Or Imu just doesn't care that Garp attacked them. I just want to see something rather than us having to do the heavy lifting for him. But this is like the only time we ever see Dragon and Garp speaking with each other. And I love that Dragon's like, "I despise you," because he should. Dragon is aware that Garp is aware of the hunting game. And Dragon's like, "I'm leaving the Marines. We're serving psychopaths." And the fact that Garp is still staying with them, he's like, "I despise you." It's like, "You suck, dude. What are you doing?" And Garp's like, "Yeah," like he understands, he gets it. He doesn't really have a good response here. His only response was to Roger in the previous chapter. He was like, "You know, who else is going to protect the Marines?" It's like, I don't know, just take them with you or something, or just expose them. It's better than continuing to serve the Celestial Dragons. And Imu and the Gorosei are so incredibly incompetent that it's not like they're going to successfully take Garp down and his crew. Like they can just evade them forever. And then just keep having this vigilante police force around the world if they really wanted to. Like, if they're that concerned about justice and taking down the pirates, even though they should be more concerned about taking down the freaking Celestial Dragons. Sometime later, we see Harold ready to set sail on the Elbaf coast. He said goodbye to his family and friends. Harold says, "I have made up my mind, Ida, Master Jarl. I will now devote everything I have for it. Hyrutin, Loki, you are both my sons and I love you. I want you two to work together." Harold became more resolved to bring Elbaf into the world community, but because he attacked that giant, the news spread that he was very violent, and that's why Harold decided to go to Marineford to talk directly with the Marines and the world government. Harold says, "High officials of the Navy and world government, I ask that you spare my words some attention." Then, in an epic final double page of the chapter, Harold pulled out his horns. After that, Harold kneeled down and offered his broken horns to the Marines and the world government with his face covered in blood. He says, "Let me atone for what happened during the last 1,000 years. I wish to apologize for all the mistakes the giants have made. I wish to prove to you all that my oath for peace is sincere, so that the children of Elbaf can live without having to hurt anyone. So that they can live hand in hand with your children. Give me a chance to make up for our sins. I would become a slave if it's for that cause." In the last panel of the chapter, we see Imu's eyes. End of chapter, no break next week. So we've come to the point of where Harold is removing his horns. This is like very Japanese. I won't get too much more into it, but you know what I'm talking about. But as for him saying, "Let me atone for what had happened these last 1,000 years, I guess that goes into the giants siding with the Ancient Kingdom and Joy Boy and all that stuff, right? Even though they were on the right side of history, considering that Imu's side won, that is the correct side of history because, you know, as Doflamingo says, whoever wins decides what justice is. And that's true in reality as well. And obviously, we still don't fully know what the history of all this stuff is and how the giants tie into it, but HARALD knows something at least. And as for Emu's eyes appearing at the end of the chapter, I guess this is going to lead to Emu like trying to manipulate HARALD, maybe planting the seeds of Dami Reversity here. And as we talked about many times before, this flashback is very likely to end with HARALD being Dami Reversity. And then Loki is going to be forced to kill him because I guess HARALD's going to like voice of all things tell him to do that or something. It's supposed to mirror what happened with Rock, Scarp, and Roger. Just taking a guess. But let me know what you thought about this in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.